Welcome to Talking Crew, an unofficial Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 7 this week, Motley Crue Uncensored Home Video. This week in Motley News, John 5 was on the show That Rocks. That's the name of the show, That Rocks. It's hosted by Eddie Trunk, Jim Florentine, and Don Jamieson. You may or may not remember them. They had a show on VH1 Classic called That Metal Show. It's awesome that they're back. First off, they have their own YouTube podcast. They had John 5 on this episode, and I will post a link to it in the comments section in case you haven't seen it. He's fantastic. Great interview with John. He talks about joining Motley Crue. He talks about Marilyn Manson. He talks about his time with Rob Zombie. He talks about Motley Crue's set list, his dog, his cat, his Kiss collection. It's just fantastic. Definitely check it out. Vince Neil is also in the news. He and his solo band played a show September the 7th at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival in Alton, Virginia. I have seen some videos from this show. He looked and sounded amazing. So if you see Vince coming to your town, make sure you get your tickets. I meant to say this last week and I kind of forgot about it. But Tommy Lee and John 5 went to the Metallica Pantera show on August the 25th at the Sophie Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Pantera posted a bunch of pictures on their Instagram account showing them meeting with Tommy and John 5, which was absolutely great. I think that's fantastic that they're each supporting each other. That's fantastic. That's it. Motley news. Now a little bit of personal news. This past Tuesday was my birthday. I turned 49 years old. Wednesday morning when I got up, I was sick as a dog, but I got a tweet, and it was from Mr. John 5 himself. He wished me a belated happy birthday, and that was awesome. I loved it. That was a great way to wake up. I was still sick as a dog, but it was still great to see. Thank you, John. All right, so that's it on the news. So this is episode 7. Motley Crue Uncensored Home Video Release. Sorry, I'm having to look at my phone. Because I used to have this. This is kind of a glare. There we go, a little bit better. I used to have this on home video until my VCR decided to eat it, and I no longer have it. But we're going to continue on with the timeline and releases. So this is what they released between albums, between Theater of Pain and their 4th album. This is the very first Motley Crue home video release. So let's go some info and facts on this. The home video, you can get 2 different ways. You could get it on VHS or Laserdisc. Like I said, I got mine on VHS, or I did have mine on VHS. The director of this is a legend, Wayne Isham, who produced Motley Crue's Smoking in the Boys' Room, Home Sweet Home, tons more, Wild Side, Same Old Situation, Dr. Feelgood. It just goes on and on and on. He did Dawkins Alone Again. He did Bon Jovi's You Get Love, A Bad Name. What else? Living on a Prayer, Wanted Dead or Alive. There's tons of them. I mean, he's a legend. Guns N' Roses, I think. A couple of those Metallica ones. The actual movie was released October the 27th, 1986. The time is a little bit over 44 minutes long. It sold double platinum, which means it sold 200,000 copies in the United States. So when they compare record sales and home video / DVDs, they're a little bit different. But 200,000 double platinum, that's a lot of copies of a home video. The video itself is behind the scenes, and their music videos from the first 3 albums. So there's your info and facts. We're going to talk a little bit about the movie. I'm not going to go in great big detail because I want you guys to watch this if you haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a while like I watched it yesterday, and I still could quote it word for word on it. It was great. I love that. Old school crew. So the movie starts with a cameraman walking into the control room of the studio. There's a man already sitting there, and the cameraman asks him, "Have you seen Motley Crue?" And the man answers back, "Motley who?" Really funny. Then the cameraman tracks down the band members each in different spots. Tommy Lee on a motorcycle riding down the road. Mick at his apartment, but Mick gets away only to be tracked down and cornered at a gas station. Vince at a party, and he gets in a limo with a jacuzzi in the back. Nikki driving around, and they kind of show Nikki in all kinds of different places. Tattoo parlor, in the studio, a bunch of other stuff, driving down the road. And that's how they do their interviews. There's a ton of funny stuff in it where they're all sitting in a studio. One scene where they're all sitting in a studio and they watch the very first 2 Motley Crue videos that they ever did. Take Me to the Top and Public Enemy #1, which I talked about in episode 3, which is the Too Fast for Love album. I'm getting tongue-tied. Another cool part, Nikki is asked about each member of the band. Again, I'm going to kind of summarize what he says. I want you guys to watch this. He says about Vince, he's a perfect lead singer and frontman. He doesn't really even have to try. Tommy is wild and crazy. He plays a joke on Mick and says Mick drinks too much, he might not make it. And Mick says, "What'd you say?" And no, cool, man, you're cool. But he actually says that Mick is a unique guitar player and puts his ego aside, especially during his guitar solos. Then he's asked about himself, and he doesn't answer it, but somebody does, and I think it's Tommy. But then when there's times when I used to watch this, it sounds like Nikki too. So you tell me, is it Tommy or Nikki? It says he's intense and loves his Jack Daniels. His hair is always in front of his face, so you can't really see his face. Then they show the music video for Livewire, which is off of Too Fast for Love. Then they come back and do more interviews where they talk about the formation of the band. Then they show the video Looks That Kill, which is off of Shout at the Devil. Then back to the interviews where they talk about how they came up with the name of the band. Another funny part is the cameraman asks them what their favorite songs are. And when it comes to Nikki, he has says 10 different answers. It's funny. It's freaking funny. Then they show the music video Too Young to Fall in Love off Shout at the Devil. Then they talk about the Denver, Colorado incident, which is absolutely hilarious. If you don't know this story, it's actually in the book The Dirt as well. They were staying at a hotel in Denver, Colorado. Tommy's bored, so he gets naked and he knocks on every door in the hotel. Some people answer the door and see him, and they get upset. They call the police. They describe him as a white male, long black hair. So here comes the police. The first door they knock on is Mick Mars. So they think it's Mick, and they arrest him and haul him off to jail. Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of Mick, he actually gets pulled over by a cop for speeding, so he gets a ticket. Then they show the video Smoking in the Boys' Room off Theater of Pain. Now, this is what I was talking about last week's episode, where I was talking about Vince makes kind of like a joke or a dig. When I was putting Theater of Pain episode, which was last week, if you haven't watched it. I found out where co-manager Doug Thaler actually has the album tattooed on his arm with the original album title, Entertainment or Death. Little did he know, Nicky would change it to Theater of Pain. Now, this is what I was talking about in the movie. Vince is showing off his new tattoo of a woman on his forearm, and the cameraman asks him what's the name of the new Motley album, and he says, "Dude, it's right here on my arm. It's Girls, Girls, Girls. They can't change it now because I already got it tattooed on my arm." And he kind of he starts smiling and laughing about it, and then they kind of cut scene. So I never really kind of caught that until I put Theater of Pain episode together, and I was like, well, now that joke kind of makes a little more sense. But so yeah, I think that was kind of a rib or a sleight of hand joke to Doug Thaler. Girls, Girls, Girls. They talk about the new album, Girls, Girls, Girls. Again, I'm not going to go in big detail on that. Then they talk about, or show the video Home Sweet Home off of Theater of Pain. Then the band says they're getting kind of fed up with the cameraman, and they kind of get in a huddle, and they said, "I'm ready to go. Let's just say we got a band meeting." "Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got a band meeting. Interview's over." And they get up and walk off. So that's how the movie ends, and then you get another really cool part. Is the credits part. They're playing on with the show. The band shows the band backstage on stage during the Theater of Pain tour, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's the movie. It's fantastic. I love it. Alright, so that's this week's episode. Homework this week. Do you have this VHS Laserdisc? Have you seen this before? And question number 3, homework question number 3. Would you like it if Motley Crue released this home video, Dr. Feelgood the home video, and Decade of Decadence the home video, all on a DVD, like a 2-disc DVD or Blu-ray? Me personally, absolutely. I would love to have this on a DVD, or well, actually all 3 of them that I just mentioned on a DVD. I think it would sell like hotcakes if BMG's listening, if 10th Street Entertainment, which is Motley's management, Alan Kovac, Nicky, Tommy, Vince. I think we want this on DVD. I think it's way past time. So that's your 3 homework questions. I want to give a shout out to Lady Electric. It's Lady ELECKTRIC on TikTok. She follows me. I follow her. Ever since of last week's episode, after I posted the Theater of Pain, she was posting, or tagging me, I should say, in TikTok videos of the uncensored home video, and that was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. That was great. Rock on. Alright, so that's it for this week. Next week's episode is episode 8, and we're going to continue on with the timeline. We're going to talk about album number 4, Girls, 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 and that will be next week. And I want to thank each and every one of you that watched last week's episode. That was awesome. I loved it. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I want to thank everyone who joined the Facebook page, Talking Crew. Again, I'm speechless. I'm so happy over this. If you know anybody that is a Motley Crue fan, likes to talk about Motley Crue, hear about Motley Crue, send them this way. Give them the link. Tell them go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook. Type in Talking Crew. All the episodes will pop up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to join the Facebook page as well, Talking Crew. And that's it. That's all I got. I'll see you guys next Friday. And you just took a ride on the wild side.